Part 26. God Level Tip, report the walking 500,000 at the beginning. Author, Tian Taido. Chapter 252. Junja, you did a good job this time. You even recruited a monk who is in the middle stage of foundation establishment to be used by our Zhou family. I heard that the other party grabbed half of the foundation establishment pill. Zhou Kunlun smiled at Zhou Junja again and said, "Yes, Dad. But thanks to Master Sanyang, if it weren't for him, I really wouldn't be able to get this foundation establishment pill." Zhou Junja nodded again. "Yeah. Try your best to meet his needs and don't offend him." Zhou Kunlun ordered again in a deep voice. "Of course. A few days ago, he needed a batch of elixirs, and I gave him a lot of elixirs from our elixir library for free." Hearing this, Zhou Junja patted his chest again and said, "Elixir? What does he want the elixir for? Forget it, it doesn't matter, we have plenty of elixirs anyway." But after hearing Zhou Junja's words, Zhou Kunlun was slightly startled, but he didn't say anything more. His Zhou family controlled most of China's medicinal materials and had plenty of elixirs, so it would be nothing to give them to him. "Yeah. By the way, Dad, now that we have the foundation building pill formula, let's start refining it quickly, right?" Zhou Junja nodded again, and then couldn't help but say, "Thinking about the beautiful scene after becoming a monk in the future and facing the rise of the Zhou family, my heart is filled with incomparable excitement. Don't worry. Refining alchemy is not like refining medicine. Only an alchemist can do it. There are not many alchemists in the entire Great China Kingdom." Zhou Kunlun said in a deep voice again. "To refine real elixirs, you need a real alchemist, and in the entire Great China Kingdom, as far as Zhou Kunlun knew, apart from the alchemist of the Zhao family, there was only the Dharma King Zhang district. There used to be an alchemist in the Li family, but many years ago, something unexpected happened to the Li family. The whereabouts of the alchemist are unknown to this day, and it is said that he went abroad. At this moment, it's better to collect the elixirs needed in these foundation building pill formulas first. The more, the better. I'll leave this matter to you. Remember, you must proceed with caution. This matter everything must not be leaked, especially the formula of the foundation establishment pill, which is the foundation of the rise of my Zhou family." Zhou Kunlun asked Zhou Junja in a deep voice again. "The formula of this foundation establishment pill must not be leaked. If it is leaked, I am afraid it will cause shock to the entire Great China. However, in the future, his Zhou family will face huge troubles, and the big families like Zhao Qian, Sun Li, and others will not make it easy for his Zhou family." "Yeah. Dad, don't worry while I'm doing something," Zhou Junja said with assurance again. "I've gone to practice, and I feel like I'm about to make a breakthrough." Zhou Kunlun said again. "Really? It's so good. Dad, if you make a breakthrough again, wouldn't it be?" Zhou Junja looked shocked when he heard his father's words. Next to them, the alchemists in white robes were shocked when they heard Zhou Kunlun's words. This weak Kunlun is already a monk in the late stage of foundation building. If he breaks through again, wouldn't it be a pill formation? Congratulations, Dad. Congratulations, head of the family. Congratulations, head of the family. Congratulations. Suddenly, voices came out from Zhou Junja and several others, congratulating Zhou Kunlun. The next moment, Zhou Kunlun went directly into the underground of the Zhou family. The Zhou family is a villa, located on the west boundary of Beijing. There is a cave underground in this villa. It actually has a cold pool, which is filled with rich spiritual energy. Zhou Kunlun directly began to practice in seclusion, and Zhou Junja directly began to collect the elixirs for refining the foundation establishment pill. However, when Zhou Junja went to his elixir storehouse, he arranged for people to search for it for a long time. "No? How come there isn't?" Joe Junja suddenly frowned and asked with his eyes widened. Master Joe, there is not a single purple heart grass left. The person in charge of managing the Joe family's elixir store stood in front of Joe Junja and said with a grimace. Where is the spiritual root that day? Joe Junja immediately spoke again, naming another elixir in the Foundation establishment pill formula. A group of people searched the huge elixir store for a long time. Young Master Joe, I don't have any Tianling roots either. The person in charge said to Joe Junja again. What? There are no heavenly spiritual roots? With such a large elixir library and thousands of elixirs, how come there is not even one heavenly spiritual root? When Joe Junja heard what the person in charge said, he felt bad. He frowned and said harshly again. What about the green spirit grass? Joe Junja was speechless and immediately said the name of another spiritual grass. After a while, the person in charge of the elixir library, Master Joe, there is no more Qingling grass. Joe JJ, Joe Junja couldn't help but curse. He suppressed his anger and said the name of the fourth elixir. Where's the nine-leaf flower? Another moment later. The person in charge of the elixir library, there are no more nine-leaf flowers. Hearing this, Joe Junja suddenly couldn't bear it any longer, and he immediately went into a rage. What the hell, neither this nor that. You can only manage the elixir storehouse. When the person in charge of the elixir library heard Joe Junja's words, his expression became as ugly as Qi-Xiang, and he said weakly. Young Master Joe, there's nothing I can do. There weren't many of these spiritual herbs in the first place, and now there's really not a single one left. Hearing this, Joe Junja was suddenly stunned. Not many originally. There were still some. How come there is none now? Are you kidding me? Joe Junja was angry again. Mr. Joe. I remember there were some of these herbs in our medicine storehouse a few days ago, but didn't you ask someone to take some out last time? You said you were giving them away. The person in charge of the medicine storehouse said weakly, with a hint of resentment in his voice. What? Hearing this, Joe Junja was dumbfounded and froze. I asked someone to take them out? How is this possible? When did I ask someone to take them out? Hiss. Joe Junja said again in a harsh voice, but before he finished speaking, he suddenly remembered, and his eyes widened, in disbelief, and even took a breath of cold air. No way. Are you talking about the ones I gave to Sanyang Genren a few days ago? Joe Junja muttered, his face suddenly became ugly. Yes. Mr. Joe. I have records of everything in and out of the warehouse. You basically gave away all the spiritual medicines you asked for last time. The head of the Lin medicine warehouse nodded again and said. Damn, I gave them all away. Joe Junja was stunned and felt dizzy. How could this happen? How come all the spiritual medicines he gave to Sanyang Genren are needed in the formula of this foundation building pill? This is a big deal. Joe Junja is about to cry. What to do? Can the spiritual medicines be returned? God level tip, report the walking 500,000 at the beginning. Author, Tian Tian Taido. Chapter 253. Joe Junja did not expect that the elixirs he had given to Master Sanyang before actually contained the elixirs needed for the foundation building pill formula. Joe Junja felt like crying but had no tears. If he had known that these elixirs were needed to refine the foundation establishment pill, he would never have given them away. Now, what should I do? Are you going to find Master Sanyang to come back? How can he get back what he gave away? Then where should he put his face? Even if he goes to ask for it, Master Sanyang is a real foundation building monk. What if the other party doesn't give it to him? But if we can't get those elixirs back, the foundation establishment pill won't be refined, and the Joe family's ambitions won't be realized. If his father knew about this, he would be in trouble. Well, Joe Junja thought for a long time, but still had no choice but to bite the bullet and find Sanyang Jinren. More than 10 minutes later, Zhou Junja arrived at the location of Master Sanyang. Senior Sanyang. Zhou Junja immediately stood outside the door of Master Sanyang and shouted into the house. Behind Zhou Junja, there were several people, wearing the same black clothes. They were all security guards and the like. They were all strong, full of strength. They were all innate warriors. They all held Zhou Junja's arms. The person who works for the Zhou family with his family's money. In the front room, Master Sanyang was practicing. With the resources of the Zhou family, he felt that he was about to reach the late stage of foundation building. When he heard Zhou Junja's voice, Master Sanyang's brows suddenly frowned. What is this guy doing here? Master Sanyang didn't intend to pay attention. Is Senior Sanyang here? But outside the door, Zhou Junja's voice rang again. What's the matter? Master Sanyang opened the door, still wearing a Taoist robe, looking like an immortal and Taoist, extremely out of the ordinary, and immediately said to Zhou Junja calmly. Seeing Master Sanyang in front of him, Zhou Junja was shocked again, and felt another sense of oppression from him. Not just Zhou JJ, but also those behind him. Senior Sanyang, I'm sorry to bother you. Well, I want to ask you a question. Although Zhou Junja felt the power of Master Sanyang, but this was in his Zhou family, he did not show any timidity and spoke directly. Explain. Master Sanyang didn't talk much and cherished his words like gold, he said coldly. Please ask, where is the batch of elixirs I gave you last time? Zhou Junja immediately said without any concealment. Hearing Zhou Junja's words, a strange color suddenly flashed in Sanyang's eyes. Elixir. Master Sanyang had another doubt in his heart. Judging from Zhou Junja's appearance, he looked a little anxious. He was obviously here for the elixir. Is there something wrong with those elixirs? Those elixirs were all collected by young Master Li Hao, and now he has already brought those elixirs to Jiangbei. What Master Sanyang didn't know was that those elixirs had actually been refined into top-quality foundation building pills by Li Hao. Yeah. Where are those elixirs? You probably don't have them yet. Zhou Junja nodded quickly again and asked anxiously. But before he finished speaking, he was directly interrupted by Sanyang Zhenzhen. Used. What? Is there any problem? Master Sanyang said coldly again. But when Zhou Junja heard what Master Sanyang said, his face instantly turned pale. Did you use it? Zhou Junja looked so ugly that he almost lost his balance. But, do you have an alchemist or an alchemist? How do you use it? Senior Sanyang, these elixirs are still of great use to our Zhou family. If they are in your hands, please return them to me. It doesn't matter how much money you have. Question. Please give me a price. Zhou Junja still refused to believe what Master Sanyang said. He didn't believe that those elixirs were used by the other party. The other party was not an alchemist or something, so how could he use them? Hearing this, Master Sanyang looked at Zhou Junja with a sharp light in his eyes. Does Pandeo need to explain to you how to use it well? Pandeo worked for your Zhou family and even took the foundation establishment pill back. Isn't it enough to use some elixir? It's really chilling. If this is the case, there's no need for Pandeo to stay here anymore. Immediately Master Sanyang said sharply again, his voice was unceremonious. Although he worked for the Zhou family, he was not the Zhou family's lackey. He just wanted to take advantage of the Zhou family's resources to strengthen himself. At this moment, Zhou Junja actually used this kind of question. Master Sanyang immediately felt unhappy when he spoke to him in a tone of voice. Foundation building monks also have the arrogance of foundation building monks. Immediately, Master Sanyang was ready to leave directly. I didn't mean that. Senior Sanyang. When Zhou Junja heard what Master Sanyang said, his expression changed again, and he continued. It's just that those elixirs are really important. Master Sanyang gave the other party a cold look and walked forward directly. Get out of the way. Master Sanyang said coldly again. A powerful aura slowly released from his body, and he pressed towards the opponent. In an instant, the expressions of Zhou Junja and the people behind him became extremely horrified. It was as if they felt a knife being held on their necks at this moment. Zhou Junja and others immediately couldn't help but step back and make way. However, at this time, my Zhou family doesn't just stay and leave whenever I want. A cold voice suddenly came from one direction, with a powerful penetrating power that echoed throughout the space. Everyone followed the sound and saw a middle-aged man wearing a black vest slowly walking over. This middle-aged man also looks to be in his 40s, and his appearance is somewhat similar to that of Zhou Kunlun. He is Zhou Tianhe, the second in command of the Zhou family. Second uncle. When Zhou Junja saw this man, his eyes suddenly lit up and he shouted directly. Second master! Second master! Second master! The people next to him also shouted to Zhou Changhe, their expressions full of respect. This Zhou Changhe is not only the number 2 figure in the Zhou family, but also the brother of Zhou Kunlun. He is also the second master and a genuine foundation building monk. Even if you are offering sacrifices to my Zhou family, you must abide by the rules of my Zhou family. Zhou Changhe ignored Zhou Junja and others, but looked straight at Master Sanyang, and said coldly, with an unquestionable tone. What? You still won't let me go? Do you want to force me to stay? Master Sanyang's eyes narrowed, and he said coldly. He could naturally see that the other party was powerful, and his cultivation level was similar to his own, but if he really wanted to fight, he really didn't know who would win. So what if I force you to stay? Zhou Changhe's voice came again faintly, full of arrogance. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. God level tip, report the walking 500,000 at the beginning. Author, Tian Tian Taido. Chapter 254. Haha. It depends on whether you have this ability. Master Sanyang burst out laughing again when he heard what the other party said. Boom. Immediately afterwards, endless spiritual power suddenly rose and circulated on Master Sanyang's body, and a powerful aura swept directly away. Sanyang Jinran's powerful cultivation power in the middle stage of foundation building was released without reservation. Arrogant. Come on, let's fight. Zhou Changhe also shouted loudly, and his powerful cultivation power was instantly released. Boom. Incomparably violent power spewed out directly. It was actually the middle stage of foundation building. Bang. The next moment, Zhou Changhe suddenly rushed out, directly bursting out an offensive of incomparable spiritual power towards Master Sanyang. The speed was extremely fast, and he punched out with such powerful force that the space screamed. Bah! When Master Sanyang saw this scene, he was naturally not idle. He also moved instantly. His spiritual power circulated rapidly through his body, and he also burst out with a fierce and powerful offensive and directly faced the opponent. Bang 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 bang. The speed of both of them was very fast, so fast that it was dizzying. The fierce collision and the violent clash of forces caused the entire space to vibrate hugely and make an ear-splitting roar. Zhou Junja and others had already moved away, and their eyes were filled with powerful shock and horror. They had to hide far away. If they got closer, they might be accidentally injured. It was just too intense. So powerful. Is this a monk's battle? It's really fierce. Hiss. This power is too violent. I'm afraid I can't bear their punch, right? In the field, the two people Sanyang Jinran and Zhou Changhe were colliding fiercely. Neither of them used any spells, but directly used their physical bodies to fight against each other. When it comes to real monks, their physical bodies have already undergone transformation, and the contestants do not know how powerful they are. Even ordinary swords and guns are difficult to break through, and the people watching Jo Junja and others on the sidelines are extremely shocked. Boom! The bodies of the two people intertwined again, and they collided with each other, making a huge roaring sound. The next moment, the two of them were knocked back again. The clothes of Master Sanyang and Zhou Changhe were a little messy, and they both looked a little embarrassed, especially the corner of Zhou Changhe's mouth, which had a touch of blood. He was a little hurt and looked a little ugly. "You are no match for me." Master Sanyang looked at Zhou Changhe and said coldly. The two of them just had a fight, which was meant to be a test, but they have already tested the depth. Although both of them are monks in the middle stage of foundation building, Sanyang Genren's cultivation is still a little stronger than Zhou Changhe. If they continue to fight, Zhou Changhe is afraid that he will suffer a loss. "Indeed, although I am no match for you, you can't kill me. And you can't leave either." After hearing Master Sanyang's words, Zhou Changhe sneered again. "You know, this is my Zhou family. I'm not the only monk." Zhou Changhe said slowly again, but there was another sparkle in his eyes, and a curve appeared at the corner of his mouth. At this moment, under the Zhou family, there was a shocking and powerful aura, so powerful that it was intimidating. Boom! A violent spiritual energy surged into the sky, and a figure appeared in mid-air, standing against the wind, filled with a transcendent aura, majestic, and a terrifying oppression suddenly spread. This figure, wearing a grey robe, was none other than Zhou Kunlun. Seeing Zhou Kunlun's appearance at this moment, the smile on Zhou Changhe's face became even brighter. "Brother! You have finally achieved the realm of pill formation." Zhou Changhe said loudly to Zhou Kunlun, with a hint of excitement in his voice that was difficult to conceal. "What? The Dan formation realm? Has the head of the family achieved the Dan formation realm? Oh my God! No wonder it has such a terrifying smell." The people nearby also exclaimed when they heard Zhou Changhe's words. "Energy formation realm. Dad, you are a strong person in the core formation realm." Zhou Junja was also extremely excited. It had only been a short time since his father had reached the realm of pill formation. It was great. With his father, a monk of the realm of pill formation, how could the Sanyang master be able to stir up trouble? At this moment, Master Sanyang's expression became a little more solemn, and he could feel a powerful threat from the other party. The realm of pill formation. The true realm of alchemy. It was completely different from Jizu, he was no match. The next moment, Zhou Kunlun floated down and stood directly opposite the three-eyed master, but a powerful pressure came instantly. "Fellow Taoist Sanyang, don't my Zhou family treat you well? You want to leave? You even beat up my second brother. What's the point of this? Should I give you an explanation?" Zhou Kunlun looked directly at Master Sanyang coldly, and said in a deep voice, but there was a hint of chill in his voice. "He." Upon hearing this, the three-eyed master suddenly laughed again. "Pandeo is not your lackey, so of course he can leave whenever he wants. You want to take back the elixir you gave away? What's the point of this?" Master Sanyang was not afraid. Even if the other party was a strong person in the Danja realm, it didn't matter. Behind him was young Master Li Hao, who was also a strong Danja player. He immediately said sarcastically. Hearing what Sanyang Genren said, Zhou Kunlun's eyes also condensed, and then suddenly looked at Zhou Junja behind him. "Dad, I didn't know that. I didn't know the spiritual medicine needed for the foundation building pill." Seeing Zhou Kunlun's sharp eyes, Zhou Junja's face suddenly changed, and he was shocked and hurriedly explained. "Shut up. Pa!" Zhou Kunlun shouted angrily, slapped over and slapped Zhou Junja in the face, knocking him to the ground. "I'll teach you a lesson later, you idiot," Zhou Kunlun said lightly, ignoring Zhou Junja, and continued to look at Sanyang Jinren. "Sanyang Daiyu. Return the spiritual medicine that this evil boy gave you before. I can forgive what happened just now, otherwise you can't leave today," Zhou Kunlun said coldly again. "Haha, you are so arrogant. Today, I have to leave. I want to see how strong you are, a person who has just broken through to the Jindan realm." When Sanyang Jinren heard Zhou Kunlun's words, he laughed again, his eyes flashed again, and a strong fighting spirit was deep in his heart. Boom! The powerful cultivation power was released again without reservation. Sanyang Jinren took out all his strength and took the lead in launching an amazing attack against Zhou Kunlun. "Don't overestimate your own abilities." When Zhou Kunlun saw this scene, he sneered directly. Boom! The cultivator in the Jindan realm released instantly, raised his hand directly, as if all the power of heaven and earth belonged to him, and blasted directly with the palm. Bang! The next moment, I saw this palm fall directly on Sanyang. God level tip, report the walking 500,000 at the beginning. Author, Tian Taido. Chapter 255. Zhou Kunlun used the power of the Dan formation realm to send out this violent palm, directly hitting the body of Master Sanyang. Bang! A dull voice suddenly sounded. The next moment, everyone still saw a figure being pushed back directly. That figure is none other than Master Sanyang. Under this palm, Master Sanyang's figure was still directly shaken several feet away. Master Sanyang struggled to stabilize his figure, but a mouthful of blood spurted out from his mouth. His clothes were all messy. His face also became a little pale and he looked a little embarrassed. Master Sanyang was injured. Even though Sanyang Jinren used all his cultivation power and his body was wrapped in spiritual power, he was still injured by the bombardment. Master Sanyang's expression became extremely solemn, and he looked at Zhou Kunlun closely. "Is this the Dan formation realm? The master of the house is so awesome. Dad, you are amazing." When Zhou Junja and others saw Master Sanyang being injured by Zhou Kunlun's palm, there was excitement on their faces and they couldn't help but exclaim. "You really overestimate your capabilities. Middle stage of foundation building? In my eyes, what does it count?" Zhou Kunlun looked at Master Sanyang coldly again, with a touch of arrogance in his voice. At this moment, he had reached the Danja realm, and he was full of energy. He was truly standing at the top of the entire Chinese country. He really didn't think about this person in front of him. Master Sanyang takes it seriously. "Return those elixirs from before? Otherwise, I can't guarantee whether I will kill you. It's not easy to practice. If you know the truth, I can pretend that nothing happened." Zhou Kunlun continued to speak coldly to Master Sanyang. "Haha. I just said that the elixir is gone. No matter what, it can't be paid back." After hearing what the other party said, Master Sanyang laughed again. "The elixir has been given to young Master Li Hao. Where can I find it? Court death." Hearing Master Sanyang's words, Zhou Kunlun's eyes flashed with coldness again. Boom! A powerful force was born again and headed towards Master Sanyang again. Master Sanyang's expression suddenly changed and he reacted quickly. However, he still couldn't resist. Bang! Master Sanyang's body was knocked back again and hit the wall in the distance. He spat out several large mouthfuls of blood, and his breath became extremely weak. This is a gap in realm, crushing. Master Sanyang's heart fell to the bottom. It seemed that he really couldn't leave today. He was no match for Zhou Kunlun, and besides, the opponent also had a monk who was in the middle stage of foundation building. This time is the biggest crisis Sanyang Jinren has encountered since he got rid of Li Hao. At this very moment, Li Hao, who was far away in Jiangbei No. 1 courtyard, even though he was thousands of miles away, still felt the current situation of Master Sanyang through the soul contract with Master Sanyang. What happened? Li Hao's voice rang out in Master Sanyang's mind, and Li Hao directly sent a message from his soul to ask. Young Master. Master Sanyang clearly heard Li Hao's voice echoing in his mind, and his expression was suddenly shocked. He didn't expect that the contract he signed with Li Hao could be used like this. It was such a mysterious method. He didn't expect what happened here. The young master knew about the matter, and Master Sanyang was immediately overjoyed. Young master, they are because of those magical medicines. In an instant, Master Sanyang directly told Li Hao what happened here through the soul contract. I understand. It's okay. Just tell me that I have the elixirs and ask them to come to me. After hearing Master Sanyang's words, Li Hao's voice sounded in Master Sanyang's mind again, but he didn't pay much attention to it, and his voice was full of strong confidence. Young master, will this happen? Master Sanyang couldn't help but said. No problem. But Li Hao's affirmative voice sounded again. Since the young master has said so, he doesn't think much about it. Master Sanyang still has absolute faith in Li Hao. Master Sanyang was immediately relieved. Although he was injured, he felt very relaxed, and even a smile appeared on the corner of his mouth. You can still laugh when you are about to die. At this moment, when Zhou Kunlun saw the smile on Master Sanyang's face, he said coldly, naturally he didn't know the voice that sounded in Master Sanyang's mind, let alone that Master Sanyang had a young master. I ask one last time, where are those elixirs? Zhou Kunlun asked calmly to Master Sanyang again. Even if you don't tell me, I will know. I said, I gave away the elixir, and I collected it for others. But at this moment, Master Sanyang said directly again. When Zhou Kunlun heard what Master Sanyang said, a strange color flashed across his face. Who did you give it to? Where? Zhou Kunlun asked coldly again. Li Hao. In Jiangbei. Master Sanyang said without reservation, this was what Li Hao asked him to say. Someone is coming. Zhou Kunlun shouted directly behind him. The head of the family. Suddenly, several people stood up behind Zhou Kunlun. Is what he said true? Zhou Kunlun asked calmly again. Reporting to the head of the family, he did go back to Jiangbei after getting those elixirs. Someone immediately stood up and said. Obviously, what Sanyang Jinren did was also monitored by the Zhou family. Second brother, go to Jiangbei and make sure to bring back those spiritual medicines. Zhou Kunlun said to Zhou Changhe on the side in a deep voice. Yes. Big brother. Zhou Changhe immediately responded. Dad, I'll go with you. But at this time, Zhou Junja also stood up and said. Go. If you can't get back what you gave away, then you don't have to come back. Zhou Kunlun said sternly again. Yes. Zhou Junja's expression slightly condensed when he heard his father's words. As for you, you should stay in my Zhou family for the time being. Zhou Kunlun looked at Sanyang Jinren again. The next moment, a sharpness flashed in his eyes again. Boom! Zhou Kunlun burst out with supreme momentum, his figure flashed, and he instantly descended to the side of Sanyang Jinren, but he slammed Sanyang Jinren with a palm. Sanyang Jinren's face changed again in an instant, and he secretly said in his heart that it was not good. The remaining power of cultivation had not yet been activated, and the opponent's palm fell on him again. Bang! Puff! Sanyang Jinren immediately spit out a large mouthful of blood, and even his internal organs were caught in the blood. His breath became weak in an instant, and the spiritual power in his body seemed to dissipate suddenly at this moment, and most of his vitality was dissipated. Ah! A scream suddenly came out of Sanyang Jinren's mouth. You will die a horrible death. Sanyang Jinren looked at Zhou Kunlun with resentment. At this moment, under the opponent's palm, the foundation in his body was actually blasted away by the opponent. In other words, his cultivation was destroyed by the opponent. God level tip, report the walking 500,000 at the beginning. Author, Tian Taido. Chapter 256. Master Sanyang looked at Zhou Kunlun with great hatred. He never expected that the other party would be so cruel. It actually directly destroyed the foundation of Tao in his body. In other words, his foundation building is gone, he is no longer a foundation building monk, all the spiritual energy in his body has been blasted away, and his cultivation level is gone. He was so seriously injured that he was not even as good as an innate warrior. Seeing this scene, the people around Zhou Changhe were also shocked when they saw this scene. Just a foundation building monk. In the future, my Zhou family will have many foundation building monks. Zhou Kunlun said proudly. Second brother, go ahead. I've made a breakthrough this time, and those old guys from Zhao Qian, Sun, and Li's family may also feel that the Zhou family still needs me to be in charge. Zhou Kunlun said to Zhou Changhe again. Zhao, Qian, Sun, and Li's family, as the top families in Great China, are giants in the country. There are also powerful monks among them, and there are even old people who have lived for hundreds of years. This time he broke through the core formation. The aura may have been felt by those people. Sanyang Jinren, whose foundation building cultivation was abolished, was taken away by people from the Zhou family. And Zhou Changhe and Zhou Junja also set off with some warriors from the Zhou family, preparing to take the opportunity to go to Jiangbei. In courtyard number 1, Jiangbei. Li Hao also had a sharp look in his eyes, and a chill on his face. The Zhou family is seeking death. Li Hao murmured. The other party actually destroyed Sanyang, which really angered Li Hao. To be honest, this Sanyang master's fate was all because of himself, if he hadn't asked him to collect those elixirs. This was something Li Hao had never thought of before. He thought that the elixirs he had collected were mixed with many other elixirs to hide them from others, but he never thought that the other party had actually researched the formula of the Foundation Establishment pill. We also sent people to Jiangbei. Really looking for death. Maybe, it's time for me to go to Jinghua. There, the system also gave me a house. But now, an enemy is coming, and Li Hao just needs to wait. Sit back and wait. A few hours later. At Jiangbei Airport, Zhou Changhe and his group walked out directly. Have you found it? Where is that guy? What is his identity? When Zhou Changhe and others walked out of the airport, someone was already greeting them. Second Master. Second Master. These people were from the Zhou family in Jiangbei. When they saw Zhou Changhe, they immediately shouted respectfully. Have you found it? Where is that guy? What is his identity? Zhou Changhe asked directly in a deep voice. Found it? That Li Hao is in Jiangbei number 1 courtyard. As for his identity, he is not ordinary. He is the CEO of Yuhao Group and the chairman of Shanshui Group. Not only is he close to the Qin family, it is said that there are still connections within the Southwest Guards Army. Suddenly, someone stood up and said to Zhou Changhe, and actually found out Li Hao's information very clearly. After hearing this person's report, Zhou Changhe's face suddenly showed a strange color. Is it also related to the Southwest Guards Army? Zhou Changhe asked again in a low voice. Yes. One of the cars that guy drove was the number 3 car of the Guards Army. Maybe there are elders who are senior officials of the Southwest Guards Army. Suddenly, the man said with certainty again. Zhou Changhe's expression changed slightly. Jiangbei is not like Jinghua. There are big bosses everywhere, but the Southwest Guards Army is an existence that cannot be provoked in Jiangbei, because there are also monks in the Southwest Guards Army. But Zhou Chang he did not expect that the other party was actually related to the Southwest Guards army. What kind of strength does this boy have? Zhou Chang he asked again. I don't know, he should be a warrior. The man said weakly again, not sure. Hearing this, Zhou Chang he's eyes sparkled again, and he laughed again. A warrior? As long as the man from the Southwest Guards doesn't take action, it doesn't matter. Even if he does, he can't help me leave. Zhou Chang he felt that he was overthinking it. He was also a monk in the middle stage of foundation building. How could he suffer a loss in a small Jiangbei? That is absolutely impossible. Immediately, several people got into several more cars and headed directly to Jiangbei No. 1 courtyard. Not long after, these cars arrived outside Jiangbei No. 1 courtyard. The battle was not small, and it attracted the attention of many people. Hello, what do you do? At the gate, security guard Zhou Tai was shocked when he looked at these cars, especially when he saw the people in the cars. Looking for someone. Is there someone named Li Hao here? In the car, Zhou Junjia asked coldly. Zhou Tai was shocked again when he heard what the other party said. Well, Li Hao. That was a person who impressed Zhou Tai deeply. Are these people here for that guy? It seems that the person who came here is not a good person. What are you asking? Didn't you hear me? Seeing Zhou Tai in a daze, Zhou Junjia shouted sharply again. Yes, yes. There is an owner here named Li Hao. What do you want to do with them? Zhou Tai asked again. What the hell, do you know what happened to me and it's your turn as a little security guard? Hurry up, if you don't want to die, take me in. Zhou Junjia said angrily again, with a hint of threat in his voice. Zhou Tai's face suddenly became a little ugly. Little security guard. Little security guard. Damn, you look down on people. Zhou Tai was angry in his heart, but he did not dare to show any resentment. Under the other party's gaze, Zhou Tai felt a powerful crisis. These people should all be warriors. I don't know how the guy provoked these people. Yes, yes, please come with me. Zhou Tai didn't dare to show any reluctance, so he immediately got on the patrol battery car and rode inside. Zhou Tai rode very fast, and the cars behind him immediately followed. After a few minutes, Zhou Tai had already arrived outside Villa number 13. Seeing the scene in front of him, Zhou Tai couldn't help but be stunned. The weather is very good today. I only see a lounge chair in front of me, outside the villa. A figure in white is sitting there leisurely, holding a bald cat in his arms, basking in the sun and drinking tea. So uncomfortable. It was that Li Hao. Brother, run quickly. Someone is going to harm you. Zhou Tai immediately said to Li Hao, kindly reminding him. Court death. But at this moment, a cold voice sounded from behind again. Bang. A fist seemed to appear in the air and hit Zhou Tai directly, and a dull sound suddenly sounded. The body of young security guard Zhou Tai was immediately blown away, and he did not know whether he was alive or dead. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. God level tip, report the walking 500,000 at the beginning. Author, Tian Taido. Chapter 257. Security guard Zhou Tai received a heavy blow directly and was blown away. His whole body fell to the ground in the distance, and he did not know whether he was alive or dead. What a disaster! This is obviously a disaster. He just kindly reminded Li Hao that these people were evil and wanted to harm him, but he never thought that the other party would hear them and take such a heavy blow. A group of figures had gotten out of the car and stood outside the villa. Everyone had an arrogant air about them. You are really looking for death. You actually dare to tip off the news. Zhou Junja looked at the little security guard lightly again and said coldly, as if he didn't care about the other person's life or death in his eyes. The next moment, Zhou Junja's eyes fell on the young man sitting on the chair in front of him, stroking his bald cat. Not only Zhou Junja, but everyone's eyes fell on this young man again at this moment. Even at this moment, the young man was still holding the cat calmly, drinking tea and basking in the sun. "Are you Li Hao?" Zhou Changhe's voice came out slowly, and a powerful aura was involuntarily released from his body and descended on the other party. However, but the other party was still drinking tea and didn't even look over. The next moment, I saw this young man standing up from the chair again, and then put down the bald cat in his arms. Then he didn't care about the sight of the people, and walked straight towards the little security guard who was blown away. Beside, Li Hao looked at Zhou Tai on the ground and understood Zhou Tai's current physical condition at a glance. The meridians in this little security guard's body were shattered, his bones were shattered, and his internal organs were fatally damaged. At this moment, Zhou Tai could only inhale and not exhale, which was quite miserable. If left alone, this little security guard might not survive more than an hour. Li Hao did not expect that Zhou Tai would remind him aloud this time. Although it was of no use, it was also the other party's good intention. In other words, Zhou Tai suffered this misfortune because of himself. Therefore, Li Hao watched helplessly and could not ignore it. As a result, Li Hao squatted down next to Zhou Tai directly under the gaze of Zhou Changhe and others. A jade needle appeared in Li Hao's hand and pierced Zhou Tai's heart directly. This jade needle contains Li Hao's cultivation spiritual power, which directly enters Zhou Tai's body, protecting Zhou Tai's heart and preventing him from burping at least for a short period of time. Li Hao's actions caught the eyes of Zhou Junja and others around him, but they made them feel angry. The other party didn't respond to Zhou Changhe's question just now, as if he didn't hear it, or it could be said that the other party didn't take Zhou Changhe's words to heart at all, and didn't take them into consideration. But at this moment, Zhou Changhe saw the jade needle that Li Hao had inserted into the security guard's body, and his eyes suddenly froze. That jade needle doesn't look like a vulgar object. Magic weapon. It must be a magic weapon. Moreover, Zhou Changhe, as a foundation-building monk, could clearly feel the spiritual power on the jade needle, which had already killed the little security guard in an instant, which shocked his heart. The guy in front of me is a monk, and he also has medical skills. This is Zhou Changhe's judgment at this moment. Zhou Changhe's eyes became a bit cold, and he looked at Li Hao closely, but a sense of vigilance arose in his heart. The pressure of his cultivation fell on him, and it was like a stone sinking into the sea, making no sound. "Are you so damn deaf? Didn't you hear what I asked you?" Zhou Junja said sharply to Li Hao again. "Li Hao, who are these people? Why are they barking there in broad daylight?" However, before Li Hao could say anything, another beautiful figure walked out of the villa. This is a beautiful woman, wearing a white shirt and shorts. Her breasts and long legs are perfect. It was Yeshiun who heard the noise outside the villa and walked out directly. When Yeshiun walked out, Zhou Junja and others' eyes fell directly on Yeshiun and could not move away. "Damn, it's so beautiful. What a beautiful woman." Hiss. Dot. Voices of exclamation came out from these people's mouths, and one of them couldn't help but take a breath. They were really surprised by the woman who appeared in front of them. "I didn't expect that there would be such a beautiful woman." Zhen Zhen Zhen. Zhou Junja looked straight at Yeshiun and couldn't help but say, with a hint of evil thoughts in his eyes. He had played with many women, but he had never met such a top-notch one like this. "Second dad, can you give me this girl later?" Zhou Junja couldn't help but said to Zhou Changhe. "What the hell, can you be of some use? Let's get down to business first, the elixir is important, this kid is weird." When Zhou Changhe heard Zhou Junja's words, he glared at Zhou Junja and said coldly. "Eccentric. What's weird? Zhou Junja couldn't help but show doubts. Why did you come out? Li Hao asked Ye Xiun. Li Hao did not expect that Ye Xiun would come out at this moment. It's so noisy. Li Hao, what are they doing? They are so vicious. Do you owe them money? Ye Xiun frowned again and said with a pout. How is that possible? Do I look like someone who owes money? Li Hao said speechlessly. Eh? Why is the white cat's hair gone? Why is it bald? What's going on? Li Hao, you, could it be you who shaved the white cat's hair? Suddenly, Ye Xiun noticed a bald hairless cat standing next to her. It was clearly a white cat. She was shocked. She remembered that the white cat was still fine yesterday. Why did it happen all night? In the past, I was bald. Li Hao had a dark look on his face, speechless, and said weakly. It fell on its own. Li Hao and Ye Xiun said something to you and me, but they turned a blind eye to Zhou Junja and others. Seeing this scene, the faces of Zhou Junja and others turned dark. As for Zhou Changhe, there was also a hint of chill in his eyes. Damn it! I'm going to ask you again, are you Li Hao? Did Master Sanyang give those elixirs to you? If you don't want to die, just hand over the words. Zhou Junja was furious again and asked Li Hao sharply again. Li Hao, he seems to be asking you. Ye Xiun still didn't react at all when she saw Li Hao, and couldn't help but said weakly to Li Hao. Talk to me. Hearing Ye Xiun's words, Li Hao was stunned again, as if he knew what he was asking. On purpose. The next moment, Li Hao looked at Zhou Junja again. Who do you think you are? Are you going to cooperate with me? God level tip, report the walking 500,000 at the beginning. Author, Tian Taido. Chapter 258. Who are you? Do you deserve to talk to me? Li Hao didn't speak a word, but when he spoke he was astonished. Arrogant. Extremely arrogant. Boom. When Li Hao's voice fell, Zhou Junja's face suddenly turned red, angry, and furious. No one has ever dared to speak to him like this is the first time. Zhou Junja was angry. Court death. Boom. On Zhou Junja's body, the momentum of the innate warrior was instantly released, and powerful power burst out directly, punching Li Hao. It's too late, but it's soon. Zhou Junja's figure appeared instantly. But Li Hao seemed to have no reaction at all. However, it was the next moment. A sneer appeared on the corner of Li Hao's mouth. Roll. Li Hao shouted angrily, but it resounded throughout the entire space like a thunder. As soon as the gun Ziiju came out, it contained Li Hao's powerful power of cultivation. He followed his words and immediately hit Zhou Junja's body with a violent sound wave. Bang! A dull sound suddenly sounded. Pht. All I saw was Zhou Junja spurting out and flying backwards, like a bird with broken wings falling into the distance. How could this happen? How is this possible? Zhou Junja fell to the ground, still muttering. He couldn't believe that the other party was actually a monk, and he realized that he seemed to be wrong again. At this moment, everyone felt a terrifying force of oppression, and their expressions instantly became extremely horrified. The other party still stood proudly and didn't even make a move. He just shouted the word "get out" and directly blew away the innate warrior Zhou Junja. It's absolutely terrifying. Master Zhou. Master Zhou. Young Master Zhou. Seeing Zhou Junja being blasted away, the people working for the Zhou family nearby shouted in shock and their expressions changed drastically. I didn't expect you to be a monk. Zhou Changhe said in a deep voice again. But you should have just become a foundation building monk, right? Zhou Changhe's eyes flickered again and he said weakly. In his opinion, the young man in front of him is the descendant of Genren Sanyang. He is so young, even a foundation building monk, he may have just made a breakthrough, right? How strong can it be? Li Hao, even if you are also a monk, you must know that there are people outside the world, and there is a sky outside the world. It is better not to be too crazy. Hand over the elixirs given to you by Master Sanyang. If not, I will let you know what is real power. Zhou Changhe said coldly to Li Hao again. Oh? Real power? You can show me how to use it? When Li Hao heard Zhou Changhe's words, he smiled again and said lightly, with a hint of ridicule in his voice. That's unreasonable. If that's the case, don't blame me. Hearing Li Hao's words, Zhou Changhe suddenly became angry again. Boom. In an instant, the power of cultivation in the middle stage of foundation building was released instantly, and endless spiritual power rose and flowed around his body. Turn your hand to become a cloud. Zhou Changhe jumped up, stood directly in the air, and shouted angrily. I saw that his hand speed was very fast, and he kept making seals. The next moment, he raised his hand fiercely, as if he had activated the spiritual power in the whole world. The whole world suddenly became dark, and the originally clear sky seemed to be in the dark. There were dark clouds at this moment. Magic. This Zhou Changhe actually knows magic. Go. The next moment, Zhou Changhe was heard shouting coldly again. Suddenly, the thick dark cloud turned into a big palm print, falling from the sky, as if the sky had collapsed, and suppressed Li Hao with a huge force. When Li Hao saw this scene, there was a hint of disdain in his eyes. Li Hao still stood there without moving, standing proudly. Boom. A strong force also started to circulate in the body instantly, and a shocking momentum was instantly released from Li Hao's body. That momentum was earth-shattering and stirred up the wind and clouds. Suddenly, a spiritual storm was generated around Li Hao's body. Boom. The next moment, everyone saw the spell cast by Zhou Changhe. When the big palm print fell on Li Hao, it dissipated directly in the storm, as if it had never existed. Li Hao still stood there proudly, looking at Zhou Changhe. That's it? Li Hao spoke slowly with a disdainful voice, and even more so with a hint of ridicule. But when this voice fell into Zhou Changhe's ears, Zhou Changhe's expression became extremely horrified. Jajadan. Zhou Changhe said with extreme horror, feeling that his whole body fell to the bottom instantly. The realm of pill formation. The other party is in the Dan formation realm. It's not rude to come back without reciprocating. It's my turn. However, at this moment, Li Hao's cold voice came out again. Thunder comes. Li Hao was heard shouting loudly. Rumble. As Li Hao's voice fell, thunder surged above the sky, and thunder dragons danced. The thunder seemed to obey Li Hao's orders. Pro. Li Hao said coldly again. Crackling. In an instant, thunder fell from the sky, carrying extremely violent and destructive power, directly towards the Zhou Changhe. Nine Heavens Thunder Method. Li Hao used this Nine Heavens Thunder technique for the second time. But the power is no longer what it used to be. Zhou Changhe's face changed instantly, and he moved his body, trying to change his position to avoid it, but the thunder seemed to have eyes and followed closely. Bang! The thunder directly hit Zhou Changhe's body and exploded instantly. Ah! Even though Zhou Changhe wrapped his body with his spiritual power, the power of thunder directly burned all of Zhou Changhe's spiritual power, and then drilled into Zhou Changhe's body, destroying Zhou Changhe's body. Zhou Changhe immediately let out a painful scream. When the smoke dissipated, on the ground, there was only a body that was burned black and unrecognizable, and it was accompanied by a smell of barbecue. Although Zhou Changhe was not dead yet, he was directly hit hard. His body was almost burned, his tendons and veins were broken, and his cultivation was also abolished. Give him what he wants. Since you have abolished Sanyang, then I will abolish this guy. Second Master. Second Master. Seeing this scene, the people around shouted again. Run. Go, go back and report to the head of the family. I don't know who shouted, and the remaining people saw that the situation was not good, and immediately prepared to run away and go back to tell Jo Kunlun, the head of the Jo family. However, before these people ran out, a bald cat rushed directly towards these people. It was the white cat. Li Hao's mind moved, and the white cat already knew what to do. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. The white cat was very fast, and its afterimage kept passing through the space. Squeak. In less than a moment, these people were lying on the ground, and their bodies were covered with scars and claw marks. God level tip, report the walking 500,000 at the beginning. Author, Tien Tien Taido. Chapter 259. In a matter of moments, figures were already lying on the ground, their bodies covered with claw marks and dripping with blood. Ah! My face! A series of painful sounds kept coming from these people's mouths, and some people's faces were so disfigured that they were disfigured. My hand is broken. Mine fell off. The scene was in a mess, and everything happened very quickly, in the blink of an eye. Everyone was filled with grief, anger, and despair. They never imagined that they would be crippled by a bald cat. Without Li Hao taking action, those who wanted to escape had already been dealt with by the white cat. The current white cat has absorbed Li Hao's spiritual power and even eaten one of Li Hao's top-quality foundation building pills. It is already extraordinary and is truly equivalent to a foundation building monk. Wow! That's amazing, white cat, you are so amazing. Yashiun's eyes widened at this moment, her beautiful eyes filled with incomparable splendor, and she exclaimed as she looked at the white cat. Yashiun's heart was extremely shocked. Although she had known that Li Hao was very good to Li Hao for a long time, she did not expect that Li Hao would be so powerful. This is a real monk. Moreover, even the white cat at home is so powerful. Meow. After the white cat dealt with all these people, it barked at Li Hao again, as if asking for credit. What? You did a good job. Do you still want the foundation establishment pill? When Li Hao heard the white cat's cry, he understood what the white cat meant and actually wanted the foundation establishment pill. Damn it, do you think my top quality foundation building pill is just a snack? If you come back with more, I'll reward you with one more. Li Hao said speechlessly. Seeing this scene, Zhou Junji's face became extremely frightened and he said in disbelief. How could this happen? How could this happen? Zhou Junji also had many injuries on his body, but his whole heart had hit rock bottom. He was actually scratched by a cat. How is this possible? Even the other party's cat is at the foundation establishment level. His second father was deposed, and now none of the people who followed him can leave. Zhou Junji also felt a chill in his heart. This was a real miscalculation. He hit the iron plate. Not only were they unable to retrieve the elixir, but their men and horses were also lost. Li Hao looked at the figures lying on the ground again, with a touch of disdain in his eyes. The next moment, Li Hao came straight to Zhou Junji's side and looked down at Zhou Junji on the ground. What are you going to do? When Zhou Junji saw Li Hao's eyes, he was extremely frightened and asked Li Hao. Hearing Zhou Junji's words, another faint smile appeared on Li Hao's face. Weren't you very crazy just now? Why are you so timid now? Li Hao said lightly. Only you? You still miss my woman. What a waste. Li Hao said coldly. Li Hao. Who is your woman? But at this moment, Yashiun's voice came from behind again. Li Hao was suddenly startled and said weakly. Just talk, just talk. After speaking, Li Hao spoke directly to Zhou Junji and others on the ground. Go away. It's best not to let me see you again. Otherwise, die. After all, Li Hao did not kill him because Li Hao was not a murderous person. But if there is a next time, Li Hao will definitely not hold back. Li Hao really didn't pay attention to these small characters in front of him. For such small characters, the death of the other party was just a matter of his own thoughts. The giant elephant will not look down upon the ants. Zhou Junjie and others got up in embarrassment, carrying Zhou Changhe, who was directly crippled by Li Hao, on the ground, and walked away in despair. When leaving, Zhou Junjie glanced at Li Hao with resentment, but Li Hao still didn't take it too seriously. The Zhou family in Jinghua. Li Hao murmured, a glimmer of light flashed in his eyes, it won't be long before he comes to the door. That's all. After a moment, Li Hao sighed again, already making a decision in his heart. After these people left, only Li Hao, Ye Xiun and a white cat were left here. On the ground not far away, in the corner of the flower bed, there was a figure lying there, wearing a security uniform. It was Zhou Tai, the little security guard who was seriously injured before. This week Tai's body was seriously injured. His meridians, flesh and blood, and even bones were all broken. It could be said that he was completely disabled. If Li Hao hadn't inserted a jade needle into him before to inject a touch of spiritual power into his body to protect his heart, the little security guard Zhou Tai would have hiccuped. Looking at Zhou Tai, Li Hao felt a wave of emotion in his heart. Zhou Tai's previous actions made Li Hao change his previous views and develop a good impression of this little security guard. At this moment, Zhou Tai is still unconscious. But in the next moment, another jade needle appeared in Li Hao's hand. There was spiritual power flowing on the jade needle, and then the jade needle was pierced directly. Puff. When Li Hao's jade needle fell on Zhou Tai, who was originally unconscious, actually vomited a large mouthful of blood at this moment. This weak Tai suddenly opened his eyes. What's wrong with me? Zhou Tai asked Li Hao in surprise, still looking a little confused. He had just been knocked unconscious and even forgot what happened. You've been crippled. You're going to die soon. Li Hao said directly. Huh? Am I going to die? After hearing Li Hao's words, Zhou Tai's expression changed instantly. He also felt that his physical condition could not be worse, and he really looked like he was dying. He's actually going to die? How so? He is still so young. He doesn't want to die. I don't want to die. Help me. Zhou Tai immediately said to Li Hao, feeling that he had grasped the life-saving straw. Ha ha. Don't worry. I'm here. You can't die even if you want to. Hearing Zhou Tai's words, Li Hao laughed again. He had god-level medical skills and was also a monk in the Dan formation realm. It would be difficult for the other party to die. Come on, take this pill. At this time, Li Hao spoke directly to Zhou Tai again. In Li Hao's hand, another round and white elixir appeared. There were also strange elixir patterns on the elixir. The moment Li Hao took it out, the entire space was filled with the fragrance of red dandelion makes people feel refreshed and energetic. Hearing Li Hao's words, Zhou Tai was suddenly startled. But in the next moment, Zhou Tai didn't say much, and then directly took the elixir from the opponent's hand, then stuffed it into his mouth without hesitation, and swallowed it in one gulp. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. God level tip, report the walking 500,000 at the beginning. Author, Tian Taido. Chapter 260. The elixir melts in your mouth. In an instant, the elixir seemed to turn into a touch of spiritual liquid in Zhou Tai's mouth. Although he didn't know what kind of elixir the other party handed him was and what effect it had, Zhou Tai didn't ask any more questions and chose to believe it without any reservation. He also demonstrated his belief with practical actions. The pill that Li Hao took out was naturally one of the dozen or so top-quality foundation-building pills that Li Hao refined. Boom! It was at this moment that this top-quality foundation-building pill was swallowed by Zhou Tai. An extremely powerful energy and extremely pure spiritual power entered Jotai's body directly. Ah! Jotai suddenly let out a huge scream. Pain. Extreme pain. At this moment, Jotai felt that extremely violent energy entered his body, crashing everywhere in his body. He felt that his whole body was going to explode. Extremely uncomfortable. Ka ka ka. Under this violent and powerful energy, Jotai's bones made a click sound. Ah! The severe pain made Jotai scream in agony, and he rolled on the ground in pain. Jotai's face was distorted, and you can imagine how much pain he was feeling at this moment. If you endure it, you will gain great power. You will be reborn. Li Hao looked at Jotai and said in a deep voice, letting the other party do this without taking any action. If you can't bear even this little pain, then you've really wasted your best foundation building pill, and you're really hopeless. Finally. Another moment passed. Jotai on the ground didn't scream anymore, maybe he was numb. Boom. However, at this moment, a powerful momentum burst out from Jotai's body. Now, under the powerful effect of this top-quality foundation building pill, the broken meridians in Jotai's body were reconnected, the broken bones were reconnected, and even the meridians seemed to have been opened. In Jotai's body, a small platform has appeared in the Danshan area, which contains the spiritual power of the body and is the foundation of everything. Build the foundation. Build the foundation of practice. Moreover, Jotai's physical body also underwent earth-shaking changes, and a thick stream of impurities was discharged from the surface of his body. Wash the tendons and cut the marrow. Reborn. It can also be said that at this moment, Jotai has become a foundation-building monk. Jotai felt the changes in his body, and felt that his body was full of power. He was shocked and even more excited. Spiritual power. I feel spiritual power. What's wrong with me? Jotai felt the changes in his body in this instant, and even felt the spiritual power filling his body and the world. Jotai said in surprise. From now on, you are already a monk. A true foundation-building monk. Next to him, Li Hao's voice came directly. What? A monk? I'm already a monk. Oh my God, how is this possible? I feel so powerful. When Jotai heard Li Hao's words, he couldn't help but get excited. Is this a monk? He just took one of the other party's pills and became a monk. This is too unbelievable. But at this moment, Jotai felt the powerful power filling his body. Even if it was unbelievable, it was already a fact. Fantasy. Jotai only felt that this was too dreamy. Just a moment ago, he thought he was going to burp. Unexpectedly, a pill from the other party not only repaired all the injuries on his body, but also made him a foundation-building monk. This was an unexpected good thing. Jotai looked at Li Hao, the excitement in his heart was hard to calm down for a while. Haha, from now on, you can do things for me. Li Hao laughed directly again and said. Hearing Li Hao's words, Jotai was filled with excitement again. Jotai nodded heavily without any hesitation. This thigh is like a hug. His life was saved by the other party, and this powerful cultivation level was also given by the other party. It is only natural to do things for the other party. What's more, the other party is a big boss. Jotai has long wanted to hug the big boss Li Hao's lap. The reason why Li Hao gave Jotai this foundation building pill was actually because he planned to make him do things for him in the future. In name, the only person under his command is Sanyang. But now, there is one more. Li Hao still felt that he had to train some of his subordinates. Moreover, Li Hao now has more than 10 top-quality foundation building pills in his hands. One foundation establishment pill creates a foundation establishment realm monk. If you take more than 10 pills, that's more than a dozen. This is also the confidence. In the future, there will be more and more top-quality foundation building pills. This is the capital to build your own team. Next, Li Hao is preparing to go to Beijing. With Zhou Tai and Bai Mao here, Li Hao felt relieved. Master Sanyang is still in the Zhou family. As the master of Master Sanyang, I still have to go there. And this time when he went to Jinghua, Li Hao planned to stop by to take a look at his property in Jinghua. Li Hao said to Yeshiun again, and then drove directly to Jiangbei Airport. Naturally, the private jet has been prepared for a long time. Li Hao got through unimpeded and soon boarded the private plane and embarked on the journey to Beijing. Jinghua, as the capital of Great China, is full of big guys. Many of the most powerful people in China are basically in Jinghua. Moreover, those giants who control the lifeblood of Jinghua are also in Jinghua. A few hours later, at Jinghua Airport, Li Hao's figure walked out. Li Hao took a taxi and headed to Zhou's house. At this moment, Zhou Junjia and others had returned to the Zhou family. Boom! What a waste! You can't even kill a small shrimp in Jiangbei. I didn't even bring back the elixir. You are such a waste. At Zhou's house, Zhou Kunlun shouted angrily at the people below. Zhou Junjia and others were trembling with fear. Dad, that boy is a monk. A monk here. He actually knows how to use thunder. That guy was the one who used thunder to destroy my second father. Zhou Junjia immediately said again. Monk? How is this possible for Lei Fa? How could such a person appear in a small Jiangbei? When Zhou Kunlun heard Zhou Junjia's voice, a strange look appeared on his face, his brows suddenly wrinkled, and he said gloomily. Thunder method is a powerful Tao method that even he can't master. How could this happen to all the little people in Jiangbei? Zhou Kunlun couldn't help but feel doubtful in his heart. God level tip, report the walking 500,000 at the beginning. Author, Tian Tian Taido. Chapter 261. When Zhou Kunlun heard Zhou Junjia's words, his eyes sparkled. Rifa. The other party is not only a monk, but he also knows how to use thunder. This was something Zhou Kunlun didn't expect at all. What is this guy's identity? Zhou Kunlun murmured again, guessing Li Hao's identity in his mind. Did it come down from those mountains? There are sacred mountains in the country of China, and the mountains are in the ethereal world, and on those mountains, it is said that there are real immortal figures living there. There are immortal sects, and among them there is the orthodox inheritance of immortality. Zhou Kunlun was a monk. He had lived for a long time and knew some things that ordinary people didn't know. Now that Zhou Kunlun knew that Li Hao knew the thunder method, he had a suspicion in his heart. Could this guy come down from those fairy mountains? You must know that among the 3,000 avenues of heaven and earth, the way of thunder is one of the most powerful and righteous. Only those who truly possess the orthodox inheritance of immortality can use the power of thunder. For a moment, Zhou Kunlun's eyes froze again. If this is the case, then the other party already has an orthodox immortal inheritance. Thinking of this, Zhou Kunlun couldn't help but have some strange thoughts in his heart. Even though he had successfully become a monk in the Dan formation realm, he had not mastered any real Taoism. If he can obtain this method, his combat power will become even more powerful. At that time, no one in the entire Beijing and even the entire Great China Kingdom will be his opponent, and everyone will respect him. Zhou Kunlun's eyes flashed sharply, and some thoughts came into his mind. The reason why he changed his previous name to Kunlun was because he wanted to truly stand on the top of Kunlun and become a transcendent existence. Right now, for him, he has an opportunity. And this opportunity lies with this guy named Li Hao. This kid is so cruel. The next moment, Zhou Kunlun's eyes fell on Zhou Changhe, who was on the stretcher on the ground, and he said in a deep voice. At this moment, Zhou Changhe's entire body had become charred black, his flesh and blood had become disfigured, he had passed out, and his aura was extremely weak. Junjia, What kind of cultivation level does this boy have? Jo Kunlun asked Jo Junja again. However, Jo Junja shook his head. I don't know. I just know that my second father was already injured before he had time to react. At least he must be in the late stage of foundation building. Jo Junja said directly. Is it the late stage of foundation building? Jo Kunlun's eyes suddenly condensed again, and he murmured. In his opinion, since the opponent was able to seriously injure Jo Chang-hee, his cultivation level was at least higher than Jo Chang-hee's in the late stage of foundation building. As for the Dan formation realm, Jo Kunlun had never thought about it, but no matter how he thought about Jo Kunlun, Kunlun still thinks it's impossible. Even those people from the immortal sect are not so evil. Of course, to be on the safe side, you still need to verify it again. Since that Sanyang master is working for the other party, he should know something about the other party. Carry the second child down. When we go back and refine the foundation establishment pill, the second child will not have the chance to become a monk again. Jo Kunlun said directly again. By the way, bring me Master Sanyang. Yes. Immediately, someone carried Jo Chang-hee down again. After a while, Master Sanyang was brought up again. At this moment, Master Sanyang was still wearing a Taoist robe, but the Taoist robe was broken, and he looked very old, as if he was seriously ill and was about to enter a coffin. Master Sanyang, if I ask you a question, answer it honestly. To avoid suffering any physical pain. Jo Kunlun looked directly at Master Sanyang and said sternly. Ha. If you want to kill, then kill, if you want to cut, then cut into pieces. Do you think I will be afraid? If I fall into your hands, I will be unlucky. But if you kill me, you will not be able to live. Someone will avenge me. After hearing Jo Kunlun's words, Master Sanyang laughed, and looked at Jo Kunlun with a hint of resentment in his eyes. After his cultivation was abolished, Master Sanyang no longer wanted to live on. Rather than become a useless person, it would be better to die. But in Master Sanyang's heart, there was still a trace of longing and a glimmer of hope. That hope is Li Hao. Is there someone who will avenge you? Are you talking about Li Hao? Jo Kunlun heard Master Sanyang's words and said coldly again. Master Sanyang's eyes suddenly condensed again, and he looked at the other party suddenly. He is very strong. He has already defeated my second brother. He should be a monk in the late stage of foundation building, right? Jo Kunlun said in a deep voice again. Ha. Has Jo Chang-hee been deposed? That's great. This is retribution. When Master Sanyang heard Jo Kunlun's words, he immediately laughed loudly and felt very happy. Late stage of foundation building? How is that possible? How could the young master be in the late stage of foundation building? But, just say it is. Master Sanyang looked at Jo Kunlun coldly again. Jo Kunlun, you will pay the price for what you have done. I advise you to let me go, and then go kowtow and admit your mistake. However, when Jo Kunlun heard what Master Sanyang said, his eyes suddenly condensed. Pay the price? Are you talking about this Li Hao? I heard Jo Kunlun say in a cold voice again. Is this what you rely on? Every little late-stage foundation building monk. I really don't take him seriously. I will go to Jiangbei to kill him personally. There was a touch of arrogance in Jo Kunlun's voice, and he didn't take Li Hao seriously at all. No need to go to Jiangbei, I'm already here. However, the moment Jo Kunlun's voice just fell, a voice suddenly resounded throughout the void. At this moment, Jo Kunlun's expression suddenly changed, and he suddenly looked in one direction. A breath that made him throb came, and the spiritual power of cultivation in Jo Kunlun's body couldn't help but start to move, and he became vigilant. Enemy. Jo Kunlun only felt that the man in front of him was a formidable enemy. He hadn't noticed just now that the other party had already come in. At the same time, when Master Sanyang heard this voice, a look of joy suddenly appeared on his face, and he couldn't help but feel a surge of excitement in his heart. This voice was naturally very familiar to him. It was Li Hao's voice. Master Sanyang also immediately looked in one direction. I saw a young figure standing proudly in the void there, but there was an extraordinary aura released from his body. Young Master. When Master Sanyang saw Li Hao's figure, he couldn't help shouting again. When Master Sanyang's name for the young man in front of him came out, it was like a thunder that resounded in Zhou Kunlun's ears.